What up, YouTube universe? It's the dark skinned dancing American. Again, I got a show that we can win. And I looked at the funeral. I seen everything that was going down. To man, it's a bunch of people who just want to get on television and push their narratives. Man, don't nobody give a damn about that dude. Hell, to a certain extent, I think his wife don't even give a damn about him like that neither. Where she said she forgave the shooter. He killed your husband on national television. She said, I forgive him. I'm saying. It's a little bit strange, you guys. I've been listening to other people, and I'm like, he must be turning his grave over all of this. And what I'm looking at is they using his death to go after anybody that seems fit if they don't speak the right way in the language. Like, for instance, you can't say it's hate speech if someone's practicing freedom of speech. But that's what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to find a way, loophole. You know what I mean? They as white supremacists, the ones who make legislation, push it through to protect themselves and many other too. They're trying to literally make it to where trolling, making memes, or doing anything as such is hate speech. How is it hate speech when we only telling the truth? You understand? We only tell them what we see too. You know, you gotta think about that. It can't be hate speech if a person telling the truth. You know, it just don't make sense. It don't. To me, it don't. And I was watching a YouTuber on here. Her name. I'm gonna let you know. I made a video about her before. She speak on this is her theories of what's going on. I'm gonna let y'all listen to it. She's in the bull by the horn right now on some of the views that she speaks of. And I thought it was interesting because I was listening to somebody else bring her up. And I want y'all YouTube universe to check it out real quick. I'm gonna hold on.
Something is not right. Nothing we are being told is true. And the strangest thing is that Pam Bondi, who is a complete loser and a tool, is trying to use the assassination of Charlie to lay the groundwork for hate speech laws in America. The very thing that Charlie was fighting against. They all just got right to work trying to pass Charlie Kirk is such now we got hate speech is something. Exactly what he's messaging me about that he doesn't want to happen. They're trying to use his death to justify. Listen to what Pam Bondi said to Katie Miller on her podcast. Take a listen.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech.
No.
And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie in our society. Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and handcuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action. We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything, and that's across the aisle.
So I just wanted y'all to listen to a little bit she had put out on here about what she believes that's going on. So I kind of do agree with them using the death of Charlie Kirk as a window to open up on getting people caught up behind this shit. You know, and I could literally see, but I've been kind of made a video speaking on how all of a sudden they hella sensitive when it come down to this dude who ain't never did nothing for nobody besides spit racist rhetoric, and now they're using him as a deploy to silence people, firing people. People have lost jobs and gained it back and shit like that. It's a mess. And it's because they're trying to use this person who was clearly a white supremacist. And they're trying to use it to go against their adversaries. And what they don't understand is white supremacist itself is in a civil war times two. I made videos about how that is possible too. You know what I'm saying? You know. So she feel like it's mighty strange and funny. Now I'm not gonna jump into the conspiracy part of it. I mean, it is kind of odd, and a lot of people. I've listened to another video of a person who shoot rifles and explaining how did the bullet get caught in the neck like that and all of that. Like it's supposed to be 200 and some yards. It just, and then some people like it's another shooter. They got the wrong person. You know. Hello, YouTube Universe. Hello? Hello? Nah. I'm good. You alright? Yeah, that's the thing to do. I was sitting there looking at this YouTube, and it's a YouTuber on here, uh, and her name's Candace Owens, and she basically talked about how is it mighty strange about dude dying like this, and she kind of bringing stuff to the forefront of what's going on. You look at it like it's a conspiracy almost. And she's, yeah, and then they talking about this one that she talked about who's into law, and they're trying to subjugate this man who got himself killed, using his death to basically impose racism, as if it's a. Mhm. Yeah, because you got to look at it, right? I mean, even out there in YouTube universe, they got to look at just check out everything. See, the reason why I listen to it's not that I don't know, because I don't know, but you got to look at all the facts, right? Some of the things that is said on a conspiracy level, because she actually knew the dude. I didn't know him. She had a relationship with him, so it's more you kind of gonna listen to the person who seen them, even if they don't rock with them no more, but they knew who they were, right? Yeah, they knew of them. So you're not really gonna listen to motherfuckers that don't know the person, right? Yeah. If something happened, okay, for instance, if something happened to your friend, you know your friend, you've been around your friend, you gonna know. You don't know everything about him. So anybody who's making videos now is not as close as she is right now. So her credibility is more in. What she feels is it's a conspiracy. She don't believe none of that stuff. She don't believe none of that. What happened? That's what she don't believe, and she drew her own conclusion on why his death was out there. Like they did this to show, like she was saying, they're trying to use it to like hate speech. You know how freedom of speech ain't like it was. You know, like you can't just say what you want on the internet because you ain't at work no more, especially if you got a Republican owner or something like that. They'll be all up on your grill, and people will find you just to get you fired. So she talking about that, and I'm listening to it, and again, but who knows what really goes on? We just know that he got got up, he got caught slipping. So some people feel like the dude didn't do it. There's all type of conspiracies on this one. I think the dude did. I mean, why would he lie? They said they got. She said she ain't believe none of it though. She don't believe that they did all this and they got all the proof and all this and that. And I'm for real. I don't know, but I'm guessing that the person that was jumping off the roof. Yeah. They trying to figure out how did he get the rifle up there and this and this and that. I don't know, but I know that's stupid. It James been it's just something. But that's crazy as hell, man. It's crazy because you don't really, like I said, she made it a conspiracy. Now the guy that got Charlie Kirk got murdered believed in conspiracies. He was a conspiracy theorist himself. Now, maybe that's something they used to vibe on because they both kind of conspiracy theorists. But everybody just assuming stuff. Yeah, they really, even though she knew him and shit like that. Actual fact. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like assuming that's a little crazy. Like a lot of people do that. Assuming. Don't even know fact, nothing like that. So that don't really assume it could be wrong. You could be wrong. Yeah. Hell, you can assume that you right. You could be wrong. Yeah. They can prove you wrong. Like, oh, I'm wrong. One person own up to it. Like, if you're wrong, everything is front fake. So on that part, it's different. Like, so it did. Well, I would challenge her on. Hey, bro, I want you back. This is Michelle, bro. All right. Yeah, you too. She feels like it's conspiracy, and you already heard from my peoples that I'm a bro. Like she could be wrong, and this is the reason why I feel like she probably is. Is because of everything that has been found where he was shot at, the clear area where he could have got a shot off, and he was trained to shoot. They got pictures of him holding guns with his family. They got this Tyler Robertson knew how to shoot. His dad, had some type of background in shooting. So this is a redneck state, super Republican, got the gate. love to tote guns even when they was young. So it's kind of like the evidence is showing her that it ain't a conspiracy, but she's going on this conspiracy theorist thing, and it's like it's not really, to me, not seeing that because again, we all heard that he turned himself in. His family turned himself, told him to turn himself in. When we first heard it happening, you heard, the commander in chief talking about that it's a radical left. Whole time he grew up as a MAGA Republican, and he had to go ahead and put it to the stop. He took that shot. Again, it just her conspiracies is not really adding up. Now, is it true because somebody else had been there? Who knows? But some people feel like the kid didn't do it. It's like, why would he turn himself in if he didn't? That don't make sense right there. And the people's is, the point is that kind of debunks her conspiracy theories because I noticed that she runs into conspiracy theories. And, something happened this way, that way. It's kind of like a superstitious type of thing. And to me, it's like I listen, but not really. I hear it, but I'm not going to listen to it because here it is that they got irrefutable evidence of the person who did it. And anybody who was around him knew he did. So that's another thing you got to take in consideration and look at. Nobody wouldn't be sitting here talking about that if they did. You understand? So it's another thing about it. You gotta kind of look at it in that way. Like, so it kind of debunks what she was saying in the beginning with the conspiracies. Now, don't get me wrong, some of the shit she could be right on, but it seems like she's just guessing right now on that, what she believes in, because her belief was that, she think it's somebody else got him. She don't believe it was him or somebody else. Like she has some type of, it's a conspiracy thing. He was the only one jumping off that roof when you turn around and look at that camera. See nobody else jumping off that roof but him. And was it another person help? She could be right about it. Could be somebody else in the mix, like trying to, everything lined up. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But from what we know, he was a part of the shooting. He was there. He hopped that roof. He did it. So the point is the reason why I'm keep mentioning that guy is not to take over the, what happened at the memorial or whatever. Because to me, I just think it was just a rally full of white supremacists and their ideology. To me, a lot of them people that was there did not know him. That's one. And two, it's kind of used to push their narratives. Like, even though he would debate with people about the narrative they all share, it was them to capture the moment. To me, that's how I look at this. It was like, to me, a lot of people didn't give a damn about that dude. It was about the narrative he was pushing. I mean, think about his wife, the cave and shooter. You already have videos of other people saying that she don't give a damn about that man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, that's pretty deep. This before she came out, and there was a lot of So again, a lot of different stuff is said. A lot of things have already been done. Now, I'm gonna say it like this: with that conspiracy theory thing that old girl talking about, I don't believe her situation because they already got the shooter. But she said, because you can't believe everything you hear. That's true. But I think it might be something maybe he knows that ain't never been said, you know. I don't know. I mean, she could be right about that. So yeah, you know. So it could be a possibility. But I believe they caught the person that did it. He said they got irrefutable evidence that was him. They got letters. They got all types of stuff. So it's kind of hard to run on that conspiracy thing that she's riding. You know, she just like what I mean. It just don't sound like that would happen. If I was to be around her, we had a discussion. I would probably debunk that part because I'll be like, then they got so much evidence that it is him and his family was him. And they got tons of picture, video. He was there when the shooting had occurred. He jumped off that roof around the time that he got killed. So but again, so she's connecting it to how she want to connect it. But I'm looking at it for what it is. The boy grew up as a Republican. Ruby Red stayed out there in Utah. There was a Utah Valley University. It's a white man with a for eyeing for silencing, straight up white assassin, and he went out, carried his mission. That's what I think. And they gonna try to word it, change it. They go, I'm gonna give it to you first, universe. That's what happened. And again, it shows that you cannot bring hate because it only comes to take. You understand? So that's just what it is. He speaked on it. People didn't agree with it. Everybody gonna agree with anything you say, but it was his racist rhetoric that, for again, how do you know who he was? When I read the videos before, I said I didn't even know who he was until he got killed. I started looking at it like, oh, what's this guy here? Oh no. You know what I'm saying? Now I know that it was people who didn't like him from the jump. He was only using those talking points to get where he was at the time. And then got him all the way up into this. Again, it is pretty ironic. He got hit in the throat, and his last words was denigrating black people. Everybody want to talk about this funeral. Okay, that's fine. But that's what happened. That's what happened. And people gonna keep doing it. They gonna test the waters. You didn't know white on white crime was looking. You didn't know white on white crime was scoping out the area. You know what I'm saying? Mm. YouTube Universe, I did that before. I asked questions to see what the answer's gonna be, and that's just what it is. YouTube Universe, you gotta ask people up front what it is. They so-called hang with you and chill with you and shit. So we must know to the white universe, what about that white crime? I've been saying it in all my videos, and it would never stop because regardless of what people say, it's true. It's here to stay. You know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to understand that, yeah, that's my belief. So I know she have her belief. Old girl was talking about earlier. That's cool. My belief is this was a white man who did this, who again grew up around nothing, the same ideology. Okay. And I'm quite sure he didn't like him. I believe that's true. I don't think that was a lie. And he unploded and used that bullet to be exploded. You understand? So that's what I think. I think that this was clearly um, white supremacists versus white supremacists. One got into shooting range. And that's what I truly believe. I believe that he hated him for real. I don't think that was an act. Again, I remember hearing what she said, right? But see, again, she don't really got nothing credible. She just saying she don't believe none of it. And the shooter just sitting back chilling, like yeah, he did it. Like, come on. He don't even have no remorse for straight cold with silence. So yeah, I seen the memorial trying to take off, talk about something that they own personal fears, white supremacy do it. They act like it's something else that really ain't shit. They should have been talking about, oh, what got him from 200 feet. Why don't like crime is real, you feel me? Yeah, look at what it's real. You know, like I said that's the most craziest stuff I've seen all year. That's the most craziest stuff I've seen all year. Ain't nothing more crazy than what I've seen. No boy was trying to do his thing to talking, like put some hot stuff in his throat while he was denigrating black people. So again, I know she had her views of what happened, but that's my view. That's what I'm looking at, what I see, what was gathered, because remember, they didn't catch the guy to 2 days. He turned himself in. They were looking for him on campus. They was watching the cameras, everything. That's how they knew he got off the roof. He had changed clothes. So he was able to get to where he wanted to and would change clothes and dip out. That's why it was hard to find him until he turned himself in. Because his pops called him, like, you did this shit. And there and turn yourself in. So again, so I know she had her own views of what happened, but it already happened. It got debunked. Dude did it. He's gone. And again, it was calculated and he did it. And again, these people talking about this stuff, again, this funeral is really about trying to charge up the next generation of who they think could be running for candidate. See, this is what it's really about. It's about him choosing the future of his constituents over there. So they not really hurt by the situation. That's why they always tell you, if you listen to all the messages that were said, we gonna continue on the fight. You know, they're trying to gain some camaraderie because of his death. It's for them to get the image to try to run for the future. Right, trying to run up to get that power. This is really not about his death. Some laughed as they was talking, as you can see. So they're just trying to get you to like look at them and like them. In reality, they can give a damn less. A lot of them talk like they just big bad people. And, only thing bad about them is their breath. You know? Now, the woman, she probably most likely was really crying. I'm not gonna say she was funny on that, but the rest of them dudes, dude. And then as you can see, is something that is said to grab the attention of the fan base of MAGA. It's not really the death. Like honestly, I think the death was just a rally for a lot of them to practice white supremacist ideology. That's it. With no trying to figure out who's gonna be trying to run for the seat in 2028 or something like that. It's not. Look, I look at it as his death is almost like a signal for them to try to get something politically going. When in reality, it's you know, something they can stage on and get the people to look at. Because there at the funeral, some of the stuff that was said was off, super off. Like some of the stuff that was said, some of them dudes that got on, I was like, one of them was laughing and trying to. I'm like, I don't know people would laugh after this. Like, it was just too phony. Some of them was doing too much. They was just happy to be around that many people who thought like them and try to get the attention and just it didn't even look like they were there at a funeral. They didn't even make it about the funeral. They made it about what they was thinking about. The person that's gone and dead, they not thinking about what that him his life. They kind of thinking about what they want to think, and then it was just bad. It was real bad for what a funeral was supposed to be. Some of them people that was there talking about his funeral, him when he was passing about his funeral, most likely. Now I the wife because the wife knew him, but the rest of them dudes, I don't think he didn't know everybody like that. It made it seem like people was real cool with him, and people act like that when they're dead. In reality, he probably had beef. We don't know. He probably said some stuff that we don't even know about, or he felt some type of way about him, but we would never know because he got that hot stuff shot through his throat. You know, while he was denigrating black people. So again, we would never know. But all these people is like jokers to me, man. They come out of nowhere. One was laughing, and I was like, I don't think that was a smart thing to do. One was receiving all type of racist narratives. Who would never say who it was, just saying they. And then it's like, well, a white person shot him, right? Like, it's a white on white crime that happened in the nick of time. You know, just saying, not playing out here. It's just and they, what it is, they'll deny that it's a civil war times two going on with them. They can deny it all they want, but we see it on television when we're not sleeping. We see that they going at it right now. I'm trying to blame it on somebody else, and it ain't working. All this they and the dude grew up in a Republican, putting guns on him when he was a youngin. He knew how to shoot. Y'all ain't fooling nobody at this feeling. Like, come on. They can't say it was one of their own. They gotta say they. White supremacists can't put a actual, character there. It's gonna be a they. And they'll be like, so the dude is a full-on white guy. Right? They gotta deal with the white on white crime. They gotta deal with it. As much as they act like it ain't there, it's very there. It's that ugly mirror is right in front of you. You might get disgusted. It may be despicable, but it's still a mirror, and it reflects what you look like. So all those people sitting there soaking up the views of people looking in and tuning into, they did that. This was a straight up white supremacist rally for MAGA. This was nothing more, nothing less. People was there to speak their piece. And trust me, they feel like they needed this. They try to take over. Try to take over. This, come on. I can't even, it's so, majority of what happened at that funeral was so, it was so egregious to certain ones that got on the talk. It was egregious, especially with old boy laughing. That was weird. It was very like, somebody do something weird, you kind of look at them like, what the hell are you doing? Murder, kind of getting that type of look. He's sitting there giggling, high-heeing on stage. It's people that's hurting, that's his family and his wife. He's sitting there laughing on stage like that. He just come through laughing. Then somehow tried to use it as people was not. I know people wasn't feeling that. And then you had one dude who came out. He couldn't help. Talk like he was just running the whole show. And white supremacists talking about they. That's cold words. You gotta watch it. They. You gotta ask what the hell is they? Because if you're talking about the shooter, he looked at just like you. So, and again, they ain't gonna want to talk about it. They ain't gonna want to talk about that white on white crime. You hear? You let them know it's in real life and time. They can't get away from it because it's true. You see more white shooters than you probably have ever seen. They shoot still going on. I think it was a shooting about 3 days ago. I made a video about. Not to trample over the shooting now. I'm just saying it's them, same ideology, white supremacy, same niche, might be different countries, I mean states, I mean in countries, but in this, I'm from America, but in this state. So you might see different states, but same results. They go out there and they use anger to eviscerate who they going after. And it's them. And you see them going after each other. So they can't say that it was somebody else. There's no way they can say that because we have proof that it's them killing each other. And they don't want you to acknowledge that. They want you to play like it's not true or it's not there. No, that's what you're talking about. But then you look on the news, you see another mass shooting, a white guy shooting up everybody. Like, there's no longer people can sit here and act stupid. No white supremacy can act dumb. Any one of them can act dumb right now. They know they're in the Civil War times too much each other. They can no longer blame black people. Again, they can't do it. There's no way. So that rally was really a rally for trying to appease the MAGA group and figure out who's going to get the 2028 running seat to become president. That's what it was about. It really wasn't about the dude who got killed. Because this was a self-inflicted thing that happened. So no matter what anybody say, it was self-inflicted. And they wonder why people look at them as domestic terrorists. Because they showed that already. They invaded the Capitol. You see that in real life, a known racist denigrating black people. Get hit in the throat. I mean, so you seeing stuff for real. You gotta listen to me, look it up, search for it, tell people how you want to be treated. Don't be, being racist is a no-no. Because it can come back on you, though. Like it came back on old boy, because he was using a lot of factors that most white supremacists, the same ideology, believed in when it came down to people with pigment skin, like me, trying to win. They will always relate that it's something demonic about that, but that's not even a Christian way, because you judge a person by the content of it, not the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And even the man who got killed didn't do that. He actually approached what Martin Luther King was about, was a dream. And he also was trying to favor guns and the people that have right to use the guns. And what else? He was for a lot of different stuff. People gotta understand. He wanted to make killing regular, like legal or something. That's crazy. And then just so happened, get him up. So you got to be careful what you preach. Tell people, keep yourself humble. Keep yourself where you're happy, because preaching hate can come back on you in the worst way. And it happened to him. That's his life. That's what happened to him. And all the people that was there besides his wife, because he was married to her. So, but I'm talking about the run fools that got up there. It was making it about them and not the actual person. And they was trying their best. And it just did not sound right. Didn't sound right. Wasn't hitting right. When nobody was feeling it. And started talking out of out of pocket. That's how you know something was wrong. He was talking way out of pocket. You know, that's how you know something was up. Out of pocket with it. You know, because it was weird. Some of the stuff they was talking about was weird. It wasn't like it just was all of a sudden. That's what made it weird. Because you know, when you're at a funeral, you're not ready to hear goofy, corny ass shit. When you at a funeral, you want to talk about the person who had passed. But they didn't do that. They reverted to talking about him. They then start talking about their own little thing. So, that's how I look at it. YouTube universe. I look at that dang funeral as hot trash because the people that attended it on the mic did not galvanize to me what's the essence of being at a funeral when you getting on the mic speaking of something who you cared or loved about. In that case, you can tell they didn't like they wasn't really feeling him like that. Some of them didn't even get remorseful. They was just talking. Yeah, blah 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 blah. He helped me do this. Just because you work with somebody don't mean you get along with them. People that at your job probably don't even like your ass, but you been the job for 20 years. That's what I'm saying. Like they get on the damn stage and be trying to squeeze a tear. Tell you that's how you know phony motherfuckers when you see one. Man, don't leave everything you hear on. That's the thing. That wasn't when I go to funerals. I've been to funerals. I have people. I know how it is. That was straight up hot garbage. They got on that dang thing to talk about scoring points in the future, running for maybe presidency. One of them might, because most of them were Republicans that got on there. All of them was. So there you go. So it was more MAGA, build base, and they was talking about things that 2028. That's what it was about. It wasn't about that man who got capped on television. What what are you about him? It was about getting the fan base and trying to get familiarized with them and do their little racist chants and shit and get on a little good foot and get on bone for each other. That's what that was. Let these people fool you. That's all that was. It was nothing about that funeral. It was about that man. Everything you talk, if you listen to some of the stuff they talked about, They talk about what they believe in and then try to lump them into what the hell they was doing over there in the first place. They'll try to compare them to Jesus, and it don't even sound right. You know what I'm saying? You like, what the hell is going on talking about? Whole conversation was useless. They don't know how to pull none of the groups. That's what it is. They working on galvanize the whole MAGA base. That's what this is. This is nothing. I know people will be like, oh, that's insensitive. I read people good. And what I read was we trying to gain more fan base through our group and, you know, get ahead of this death. Some of them probably never even liked it. I'm just saying. White folks know what they do. They know what they do. Come on, man. Some will keep it honest with you, like, yeah, it's white motherfuckers they don't like. There's some people that don't like him right now making videos about his ass. And it's white too, and don't like him. I'm quite sure. But see, that's the thing. They're attacking freedom of speech because of it now. Now, if you practice who you don't like, it might be some trouble spelled for you on your job. So they're attacking freedom of speech. Again, they use this dude's death as a damn weapon. I didn't even know who he was till he died. I'm just gonna be real with you. I never really followed him. Was fans and know what he did. I looked into this dude and I realized, oh, he's just a white supremacist. That's how I looked at him. He didn't know another white supremacist was gonna take him out though, because in his own eyes, even though you see that bullet coming through his throat, denigrating black people. I mean, it happened in real time now. I'm saying though, he would, his get up about black folks was that we were the criminals and we the ones you gotta watch out for. And, hold your money and then this and that, and be nervous somewhere on the plane, and stuff like that. And, you know, what happened though? White person killed him. In a redneck Republican, ruby red Utah University. So it all happened by his own people. And they threw a whole get together rally of people who thought like him, cackled with each other and laughed, talk about their deepest fears, how they gotta come together and fight against the evil. But you're not telling you what's the evil, who the fuck the evil is. That you couldn't pay him to tell you what it was, because the first thing people would say, well, the dude didn't die from it. He died from somebody that's from your own damn camp. That's what fucks them up. The white on white crime comes in full play on their ass at the drop of a dime. And it's true. I've been saying it in my videos. I've preached it. I've talked about it. I was the first one to bring the white on white crime up. And it just needs to be talked about. All them white people out there, if you got any white friends out there, YouTube universe, black, heavy in the mind frame, you can always ask them, what about that white on white crime? And see what they say. Because it's very real. It's very real. They'll never admit that they're going through a civil war times two. And I mean an all white war within themselves. It's destruction that will be left unwell. And that's what they practice, that's what they preach. That's why Charlie Kirk got hit in the throat. That's what I'm saying. You feel me? So it's happening. They can act like it ain't happening. There's more shootings going on with just that one. There's other ones that I done brought on my other videos. I can keep bringing more videos and more videos if you like. But you know I'm telling the truth. And I always drop the mic. So it's the mirror. You gotta look at that thing. You better look. I'm saying. White man did that. A white man made that memorial. I mean, for Charlie Kirk and everybody being there, and his wife forgiving the shooting. No one told her to say that, but she said she forgive the guy who took her husband, hit him in the throat, and his last words denigrating black people. And she forgave him. And everybody, they rallied around. And some of them was crying. In my head, I'm like, why are they crying? You know, this was white that did it, right? There's no reason for you to be crying right now. They got the person that did it. I can't say the white. I'm talking about the people that was understand. They got hella emotion. And I was in my head, I'm like, what's that soft ass stuff? You know? So anyway. YouTube universe. I want y'all to know that you heard it here first. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell it like it's supposed to be with work. And again, it was very, very strange that these people came out of nowhere like they was running with him heavy. You know, and some of the things they were saying was so off. They just somehow was able to get to the mic. They could have got some better speakers than that because they suck. I ain't gonna lie. You know, the wife did all right, but the rest of them, I mean the widow, but the rest of them, boy, y'all suck. Y'all can't galvanize nothing. A lot of them speaking didn't even make sense. And then y'all talking about stuff that didn't even make sense to the dude who got killed. So it was like just a bunch of phonies just come around. Yeah, they speaking ain't they, it's not their thing. That's for sure. But y'all let me know, YouTube universe. Let the comments in, press like and subscribe, fam, and I'm gonna come back with another